Good morning, people, and welcome to Digging the Coast 365. I've brought you to a museum today, Fleet Air Arm Museum. Now, it says it's got 20 aeroplanes in there. It must be a very, very big museum. That's all I can say. I've no interest in aeroplanes whatsoever. I'm a bit worried about what I'm going to call the title of this because I don't know how to spell aeroplane. I've always had a problem with that word. Is it A-I-R? Is it A-E-R? A-E-R-O? Aero? I don't know how to spell aeroplane. I'm sorry. You know, everyone's got problem. Everyone's got the faults. That's mine. I can't spell aeroplane. So let's go look at some aeroplanes, which I'm really not interested in, but I'm sure you will be. And maybe I'll change my mind by the time we come out. It's a replica of the Short Type S-27, and that's the Short brothers. Back in 1910 they made one exactly like this. And all the wings are made out of material, and they used to cover it in something called dope. They used to paint it with something called dope, but they had to watch how much dope they put on it, because if you put too much on it, it would become too heavy and wouldn't fly. It will go 48 miles an hour. It can have 2 people sat in it. And it is pretty impressive, it has to be said. It was used between 1910 and 1912. So this is what a pilot would wear in World War I. This is his leathers. And one interesting little fact here, you know how they used to all wear goggles? Now apparently they didn't get issued goggles most of the time. The pilots took their own motorcycle goggles and wore them to keep out the snow and the wind and bees and flies and stuff apparently. Now that's really impressive. You've got a lighter there which has got a 1918 penny built into it. And it's made out of parts from a German airship which was shot down in 1916. How wonderful. This one's called the Supermarine Walrus L2301. Built in 1939. And the Germans tried to hijack this in World War II. But as they tried to take it, the RAF basically shot it back down and reclaimed it. So this is a Westland Dragonfly rescue helicopter, and this is pretty cool. See the net down here? They'd actually use that to catch people in the sea, you know, if they were unconscious or anything, or doing any rescues. Literally scoop them out of the sea with that. Now it's made by Westland. Now I used to buy compost off Westland when I was a garden centre manager. I used to buy compost and chicken manure from them. I don't know if it's the same Westland, probably not. It's probably a completely separate company. But it is interesting to think that a compost making manufacturer might have made an helicopter as well. Now here you have one of the first ever armoured cars, RNAS. Now Germans used to try and stop these, take over them. But it wasn't because they wanted to stop the armoured car, it was because they wanted to look at the museum in the back. See what I mean? The Germans just wanted to have a really good look and read all this information because it is really interesting. And Westland didn't stop there, they made this one as well, the Whirlwind. Now you might think that helicopters are really heavy, but they're not. They're only like 2.5 tons. This one's 2.5 tons in weight. But they have a very thin layers of sheeting. Some of them are less than 1 millimetre thick apparently. One thing I have noticed about all the helicopters in here, all the blades are pointing backwards. They're not going anywhere. They're rubbish. One thing I am noticing is the exhausts get bigger as the machines get newer. Look at the size on that one there. You come with me round here. This is your next one. A bit bigger. And then, sorry. Look at the size of that one. So we're inside a helicopter now. Not supposed to be, but hey, why not? Not going anywhere, are they? I'll just come on and have a little look around. Now you can tell this is quite an old helicopter because they've put a ZX 48K computer on board. You know, you'd have a proper PC or a laptop nowadays. Nice mirror. Just full of knobs. Knobs everywhere you look. And Prince Andrew drove these in the Falklands War. You know, all the princes seem to drive helicopters, don't they? And Prince Andrew is actually a patron of this museum now. Didn't know that. So I've gone into the second of my halls to go through. I don't know how many halls there is. Loads more. This is like fighter jetty type thingies and a Concorde. There's a big Concorde in the background. Let's have a closer look at all this stuff. It's a lot more exciting than I expected, I'll be completely honest with you. It's pretty impressive, even if you don't like planes. Right, that's a Sea King helicopter. I'm just getting helicopters out of the way. I'm bored of them now. I've seen 3 or 4 or 5 of them. You don't need to see any more than that, do you? But I think this is like the Falklands section. I think all these were used in the Falklands. This looks pretty cool. It's massive. Compared to the other ones I've seen, it's massive. And that looks like it could hurt somebody. You won't mess with that, honestly. So this is a Sea Harrier. Now, the pilot of this, during the Falklands War, had to eject. But it lived, you know, he managed to live safely, but this is the actual aircraft which he ejected from. They recovered it from the sea and brought it to this museum. How wonderful a story is that? Rubbish plane, really bad colours. You know, it's like a teal. I'm not keen on teal for a plane. You know, I'd stick with red or a bright yellow. Teal just doesn't work for me. I've got to laugh when I read this one. This is the Hunter T8M. And it says on here, look, it held the world airspeed record at 727 miles per hour. But its maximum speed is 685 miles an hour. How's that possible, really? How is that possible? Someone's lying. So this is the Fairy Delta 2, and it held the world airspeed record 1,132 miles an hour. And I don't understand why they've got these big pointy things on the end. Can someone tell me? What's all that about? Are they going to fly really low and stab a shot soldier with it, or what? Doesn't make any sense. So this one's a Hawker, and this is one of them which on Harriers that can land vertically. I've always wondered how they do that. That's just an engine. You know, who wants to look at an engine? I think that's called a Hanley. It only goes 300 and something mile an hour. It's pretty rubbish, really, but it does look nice. It looks very nice. I love this straightforward chrome look. That's what I'd go for. Forget me red and me yellow, which I mentioned yesterday. In fact, no, I'd keep me helicopters red and yellow, but me fighter jets I'd have in chrome. So we've got a Concorde back there, but how I'm going to fit this into frame, I do not know. It's too big. Let's go aboard a Concorde. Why not? I always wanted to do this. Oxygen spares. A box of oxygen. Is everyone alright for oxygen? Anyone want any more oxygen? We've got plenty of oxygen. Boxes full of it back there. We've also got bottles of oxygen. Honestly, you're not going to run out of oxygen on this flight. Check out all them controls. It's just like flight simulator computer game really, isn't it? But the Concorde, I don't know if you knew this, but it can travel at 23 miles per minute. That's pretty quick. It's faster than a Citroen C3. So I had to find out, so I asked one of the guides what these are for. Apparently it's to measure the airspeed, and every single aircraft has one. That one's also got like a little wind thing on it. But every aircraft has one. The Concorde's got one at the front. Every helicopter has one. It's just there to measure the airspeed. So now you know. Right, I've just popped out for 2 minutes. I'm going to have to split this into 2 videos at least. I'm not even halfway around yet. Too much to see, too much to do, so join me in the next part 2 of this video when we go back inside. I think it's World War II aeroplane-y thingsy now. Next, in a minute, on the other video. Join me then. Goodbye.